Hi friends, this is Aylin Aydin, your astrologer and tarot reader, and this is your seasonal tarot reading for the spring of 2021. In this seasonal tarot reading, there's a couple of things that we're going to be going over. So I'm going to outline every single one of those things that we're going to be going over before we get started. So this reading covers everything you need to know for the spring season of 2021. The first thing that we're going to start out with, though, is a collective message reading with all of the elements. And as we go through the elements and through the cards that I have pulled for the elements, I will be explaining what it all means. The second thing that we're going to go over is the tarot reading for your personal sign that covers each of the lunar phases during this season. The first phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Aries. The second phase we'll focus on is the new cycle beginning with the new moon in Taurus. And then the third phase that we're going to be focusing on is the new cycle that begins with the new moon in Gemini. Let's get started with the collective message. Now, the collective message is going to consist of 5 elements that we're going to cover for this entire season. It is going to be fire, water, earth, air, and space. And as we cover these, I'm going to give more examples of what the elements stand for. Now, majority of us already know or have a relationship to these elements that I'm going to be going over. But if you're drawn to certain elements, make sure you come back and listen to them again. Or you could also just put together a bigger kind of message for yourself through your sun, moon, or rising sign. Now, the very first thing that I'm going to be covering is the element of fire. Fire stands for the self, for our body, for the way in which we use our strength, mind, body, spirit all together to put things into action. It's also an element that stands for action. And the collective message here, the 2 tarot cards that fell out, was the 4 of Swords and the 8 of Pentacles reversed. So what we can expect during this spring season is that we're going to feel a little bit restless. We're also going to feel restless because we're trying to figure out and narrow down what it is that we should be focusing on. And I think that that is the reason why this was reversed, because a lot of our focus during this spring season is going to be on everything that we're trying to accomplish, or we're trying to ignite a new path. So there is sort of this moment here where a lot of our actions will be sort of coming with a lot of intensity. And I think that it's also going to be focusing a lot on just giving ourselves an opportunity to begin again and to move forward again. Now, with the fire element, there is also an oracle card that I have felt drawn to pull for this spring season, and that is the dolphin. And it says, embrace your inner child. And I really feel that what this message is all about is that we are to look at the things that we truly, truly love. Now let's move on to the water element. The water element, there's a bunch of cards that fell out here. So we're going to go through it one by one. The water element is our emotions, but really what is being reflected in our day-to-day. What kind of emotional currency are we going to be moving through all throughout this season? I think that when we are coming up to the full moon in the first lunar cycle, what we are discovering is that there is a strength that is returning within us. The Queen of Wands fell out. It's really just going to be about a strength, or we're going to discover a moment here. It's going to be an aha moment that, you know, gives us sort of an answer that we have been looking for, and it reignites our faith. That's what I'm seeing here with the Queen of Wands. The second card that fell out is the 7 of Wands reversed. I think that we're going to feel quite kind of tired by the time we get to that full moon. The reason for that is because, again, the energies are very intense during the beginning of this spring season with that new moon cycle in Aries. And there's just a lot that we're trying to accomplish in a short period of time. So it seems that's what the cards are showing us here. But even if even if we take a look at the astrological transits, that is what we're seeing as well. We're moving forward. The energy is moving us forward. And so what we are discovering during this time is that this is our opportunity to step into our destiny, our fate. There's a lot of fated events that might be unfolding in your life. And if this really speaks to you, this is going to be a moment where you have to sort of take a moment to gauge if this opportunity is worth pursuing, right? Because opportunities are going to be arising, but not every opportunity is going to bring us what we're looking for. And so here you must remind yourself of the past. Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is basically saying, are you repeating something from the past because you're trying to, get a particular emotion back into your life? But does it have to come through this one thing? Does it have to be through this one person? Does it have to be through this one company, this one, job, this one path that you thought all of your life would be the only way that you would feel accomplished? The Five of Cups here is saying, is this really what it is that you're trying to accomplish, or are you repeating the past? Make sure you're listening to your heart. Make sure you're listening to the clues, right? Like take a moment to gather all the information and then see emotionally what feels right. Because, your own inner heart wisdom knows the answers. And I think that's what the Five of Cups is saying here. You must take the past into consideration. Now, the spiritual guidance card is Sandbar. Okay, it says discovery of new pathways and opportunities. Yes, absolutely. There is going to be new pathways and opportunities. But again, we must actually look for those opportunities as well during the season. So a lot of it will come to us. But then if you feel that you're repeating the past, there is going to be another way. There is going to be another way. And you must stay open in order to see it. And that's what I'm seeing here. So emotionally, what are we taking a look at? We're taking a look at, focusing on being hopeful and focusing on being curious, focusing on love. Do we love it? Yes, no. That is how we're gauging all throughout this spring season. For the earth element, the one tarot card that fell out here is the Two of Wands. This is so interesting because I really feel that we are going to be looking at how to put value back into our life through the lens of where we belong emotionally. Where do we belong in the world emotionally? What is it we desire? Who are the people that need to be in our lives or that we envision that are in our lives, right? So these are the things that we're going to be looking at. I also feel like a lot of us will be finding new sets of values because our values have changed. So that is another really big thing, I think, with the Two of Wands. It's a very simple message for the earth element. Now, for the spiritual advice, we have Poseidon. Emotions are intense. Be cautious of how you treat others. So I really do feel that because we're going to be in a very passionate season, I think that what a lot of us can expect is that we're going to be clearing a lot of misunderstandings in our relationship dynamics. That's number one. I also think that we're going to be clearing the way for us to know now where we emotionally belong in the future. I think that that is going to be a very big role based on our values. We're to ground ourselves in this area emotionally and to look for genuine connection. I think that is going to be another really, really big part here. Now, the other thing that I'm seeing with this Poseidon card is that there is sort of this moment where we could be creating a storm in our lives, which is what Poseidon really represented anyway in Greek mythology. He was feared for being the person that created storms. And so I think that what we are to watch out for is how we're communicating our values to other people, because during this time, we could be emotionally very sharp. And what we're saying could really hurt another person. And so I think that we have to be mindful of how we are communicating what it is that we feel on the inside out there. There is also going to be new information that is going to come up that will help everyone to connect the dots. There is more information that's coming up for the collective, for out into the open, for people to see, that will allow for us to connect the dots. This will have to do with science. This will have to do with scientific research. This will also have to do with anything that needs more scientific research. And so I think that during this time, we're going to feel very passionate. For the air element, our intellect, the way in which we are going to be thinking, the way in which we might communicate, or the way in which we get inspired, we have the 9 of Wands. I think that what we're realizing is that there are certain things in our lifestyle that we are now seeing in the collective way that is just not worth defending anymore, or is worth defending. So we're going to have both sides here. I also am seeing with the spiritual advice card, Bird of Paradise, embark on a new adventure. Yes, there are going to be new ways in which we're wanting to dissolve past boundaries so that we can live our life in a different kind of a way. So there could be moments where you might just sort of decide that you want to do something very different because the opportunity presents itself. And I think that the way that you want to do this something different is going to come through is by you getting sort of a piece of communication that empowers you. I think we can really count on that, especially during May when we get into that new moon cycle, or that entire phase with the new moon beginning in Taurus. I think what's going to happen is that we're going to be in this place where we're going to want to reach further beyond what we used to do in our day-to-day. And now that opportunity is there. Now we're wanting to grab that opportunity and we want to go with it. I also think that there is going to be a lot of people that will start to share what has happened to them in the last year and a half, who they've become, who they've seen, what has happened, to them, and what exactly the shifts are that are happening within them. For the last element, which is space. Space basically representing what are we to hold space for in our lives during this particular season. The one card, tarot card that fell out is the Page of Wands. And that is interesting. The Page of Wands is like a new learning curve about ourselves. So we're going to continue to learn more about who we're becoming. We're also going to be continuing to learn about how to trust the actions that we're taking. I think that there is this moment where we are to trust, especially right before the eclipse, we are to trust that what is happening and what is unfolding in our lives is exactly what is meant to be. Because some things are fate, and then some things will also mix with fate and our free will, obviously. But here, the Page of Wands basically says, look, you have to trust the feeling that you have. You have to trust the value that you have in your life. And it is leading you, it is guiding you somewhere. And it might be a new intimate connection that you have with people, with your career, with certain values in your life, and you are to trust it. And the spiritual message cards, there's 3 of them that came out. The first one is anchor. Be hopeful, choose optimism. I think that there can be some cynicism that could come up, right? If the card were to be reversed, if we don't take the opportunity, even though the energies are very good and the energies will be guiding us into a new perspective that we can anchor into, that we can have faith and hope over, that we can have optimism over. So as the collective, we are learning how to trust the actions that are being taken. And then there's also going to be moments where we're going to see who we cannot trust. Because it always goes both ways, right? It's not just one way, like everything is rainbows and lollipops, it is going to go both ways. And so I think that there is going to be moments where we will actually see that we cannot trust this one person, or we've trusted the wrong kind of, situation. And so that is going to come up as well. And the second spiritual message for trust and holding, new kinds of trust in our life is the fish. And again, the foundation for it is going to be, what are we trusting? Who are we trusting? And first and foremost, are we trusting ourselves so that the balance can come in? The third spiritual message is the starfish. Trust your instincts. So what's interesting about the starfish is that the starfish is a very complex creature. It actually doesn't have a brain. It has a very complex nervous system. The starfish also speaks about the fact that when we take a look at the starfish and the life of the starfish in and of itself, it relies on its environment for survival. So these types of themes are going to be coming up. The space that we're coming into, especially when we get into the Gemini season, there is going to be moments where we're going to realize that there are certain dependencies that we have in our environment that are being betrayed. And because they're being betrayed, we are now to trust a new path. We're now to trust something else. And where is that something else going to come from? You know, this is what we're looking at with the starfish, right? There is a betrayal of some sort that is going on to the values that we used to hold, or we thought we were putting all of our trust into this one thing in our environment, whether that's the food industry, whether that is some kind of, area of our life specific to where we live in our environment, that now we see is actually not what it is. And I think that with the starfish, it is hope. The message is hope that we can overcome betrayal. And the way that we can do that is by bringing the communication, or bringing basically an appreciation back to respecting ourselves and nature, respecting our environment, respecting the very thing that has been, where the boundary has been crossed. I think that's what we're seeing with the starfish here. It's really, really interesting. So between these three, anchoring down, finding the balance, and the starfish, there is something big that is going to start to come up in Gemini season, new forms of communication in your particular environment that will impact or have an impact that is not so favorable. And it has to do with some kind of betrayal, or some kind of, where the boundaries are being crossed for money, where there is sort of actions being taken without the consideration of the greater good. Something like this is going to be coming up during Gemini season. And I think that what we are being asked here is to hold space for that to happen, because sometimes we just don't know that certain things are going on in the background. So this is something that is going on in the background that is going to come up to the surface. And I think that what we are to do is actually hold space for that, because we are to help each other during this season to really come back to our center, a center to respect who we are, and a center to respect what is happening in our lives. Because when things go in the wrong direction, we need a moment to actually see why they went into the wrong direction. So I think that the starfish is communicating that through this card right here. So that's what I'm seeing here for the space element. Now, before we dive into your sign, I do want to quickly mention that I do offer readings in person, and I also do video recordings that I do send to you with a private link. And if you would like to book any of my readings, that information is in the description box below. Right now, I do have a tarot reading, which is a video recording that I do for you personally, that is on sale, 30% off. So if you're interested in working with me a little bit closer, then you can book that reading. And everything that you need to know, again, is either at upriseastrology.com or in the description box below. So now let's take a look at your personal zodiac sign. You can listen to your sun, moon, or rising, or you can listen to all three if you know it, to kind of get a bigger reading and to know what is going to be coming up over the next 3 months.
All right, Gemini, so here are your cards for the first moon phase cycle that begins with the new moon in Aries. That new moon in Aries, it is happening at 22 degrees. This is where we are moving towards a new process where we are changing who we are based on how the world outside of us is also either reacting or interacting or connecting with us. So we have done internal work, and now we are to change it in our reality as well. And I think that that is what this entire moon cycle is going to be about. And for you in particular, especially because our opening card here is the Sun card. And so what we're seeing with that Sun card for you is that this entire month is really about you. And it's about you exploring new ways on how to let go of past resentment, how to let go of past anger, and how to step fully into yourself and who you are naturally, what your natural kind of given, skills are, what your talents are, what your energy is. I think all month long, you are going to see that reflection back in your life. That is what we're seeing with the Sun card. It is going to be about you, and it's also going to be about what it is that you believe and bringing that out into the open. So that's what I'm seeing here with the Sun card. I think that it is going to be a pretty fun month for you. I think that you are going to have some situations, I think, where you're just going to find that same old humor within yourself again. Maybe a part of you that you had kind of lost a little bit because things have been so just disconnected. Whether it was the world around you or whether it was, things you were dealing with, there was just so much disconnect. And I think there's a sense of humor that was kind of lost in all of it. So that is going to be returning back as well. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Gemini. Now the Hanged Man, we have it here in the reversed position. I think that there's some things that are coming up right now for you that you don't necessarily want to take a look at. These are karmic things. What I mean by that is actions you took in the past or actions you didn't take in the past based on fear. We're going to definitely take a look at that a little bit more for you. I think that the Hanged Man reversed here is basically just letting you know, look, there are some things that they're trying to clear out of your life even more so. And so in order to clear it, you have to kind of put yourself into this position where you are going to be taking a look at things that you didn't maybe necessarily at the time know exactly why you didn't do it or why you did certain things. And I think that the actions you took in the past, they're kind of coming back because you are to take a look at how to let this portion of your life go, because it's directly tied into that Sun card as well. It's directly tied into who you are. It is tied into what you believe, and perhaps at the time, what you were doing, a very specific situation. It was tied to a relationship that you don't like. And I think that what you were being shown here is that it's time for you to kind of just clear the air about that. So the Hanged Man here is also going to be a time, I think, that you're going to feel a little bit like maybe in the beginning of this moon cycle that it's like stuff is coming at you a little bit quick emotionally, okay? It's like a bodily experience. So I think you just need to rest, right? Like the Hanged Man here is basically just letting us know, like you have to rest here as well. You have to give yourself an opportunity to kind of let your body catch up, because you are also changing still throughout this month so much, and there are so many new things that you're going to be taking on. I think that you are going to be in this place where your body is going to really let you, know, hey, we got to rest up here. We have to take some time in solitude. So even if you can do this all throughout the day, I think this is going to be a really good experience for you. We see with the Hanged Man here that, it's kind of a position that he is in that isn't really quite the preferred, because he is sort of, his hands are tied. He is only kind of hanging on one leg, basically. And you are to just let your wisdom come through from deep within. It's not something that you're going to be able to outsmart here, because these are deeper emotions that are coming up, and it's a bodily experience, and you got to create space for that. There is just nothing else you can do about that, because our body sometimes is, talking to us in ways, and when we don't honor to rest, then, it starts to catch up with us. So that is another very strong thing that I'm seeing. Like the image that I had for you here with the Hanged Man was solitude. Like you have got a blanket on you, your favorite PJs, your favorite thing to drink, and you just got to tune out for a couple of days or whenever throughout the day, okay, that you can. in the evening. You know, if you can do something in the morning, just try to take that time for yourself. It's going to be really important during this month because the fire is just coming in through very hot this month. That Aries, you know, Martian energy is coming in very hot. So interesting, as we move on, we see the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune over here is a very interesting card because, you know, it can turn in any which way, right? That wheel turns and we don't know. You know, it's like a fated event. And so for you, you're being shown a heartfelt connection this month that is going to be unlike anything you've ever experienced before, and it is tied into a group of people. That is the image I'm seeing. It's almost like you're stumbling across this like situation, opportunity. It's tied into a group of people, and you're going to feel like it has been family all along. Something like this is going to come up for you, Gemini. I'm really curious to know where this is going to happen, but it ties into something that you really love. It ties into something that you are very passionate about. And for some of you, this is also going to be tying into if you are in a romantic relationship, committed relationship, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you are going to be in this place where I think you are going to realize that, you know, your relationship dynamic is changing because you have been working on your relationship dynamic in the intimate sense in the background a lot. And I think that you're going to get this moment here during this cycle where you're going to realize, wow, you know, my relationship dynamic is changing for the better, right? Like there is a deeper heartfelt connection. There's romantic sort of a connection that is coming back as well. And if you are single, you are going to be having that encounter with someone. And again, it comes through a group. It's not something that you are just going to stumble across like one-on-one, but it's someone you are going to get to know. So let's move on to the Emperor reversed, which is a really interesting position in opposition to the Sun, but also reversed, but a very helpful reversal of the Emperor. The first thing that I'm seeing here is that this is tied in also to the Hanged Man and fears, and sort of tied into that story of actions you took in the past or actions you didn't take in the past that sort of got you into this place where, you know, it kind of comes up now, because the Emperor reversed is basically just letting you know that story is also connected to another layer. We're peeling the onion back here, right? Layer by layer. And the more you're peeling it back, which is what the Sun is doing, the Sun is coming in strong for you. It's illuminating these different areas of your life. And so for you, this is going to be home. And so the home situation, you know, there's something going on here where there is sort of an emotional discomfort or a particular role that you've played with relationships at home. And it could be anyone who is considered family. And so what you're seeing here is that, you know, that discomfort, that emotional discomfort comes from a place of you just feeling like you didn't have, maybe you couldn't be someone that could be in charge, or you couldn't be someone that was just being able to call the shots. Something about decision making, right? It's tied into this as well, because that hangman situation also ties into it, right? Like the actions you took or the actions you didn't take based on the fact that this relationship from, you know, either childhood or from the past, from even a someone who was kind of maybe even like a parent to you. It could have been your parent, but also someone that was like a parent to you, where you felt like that relationship dynamic kind of just never taught you how to maybe take these kinds of actions. And so what is supporting you this month is for you to really see that. And it's not easy. Anytime we take a look at any kind of deeper layers like that, it is so important that we let go of our idea of what we need to be, that standard that we need to be. And I think that for you, you are to make peace with this portion of your life, and you are to make peace and recognize the good in all things. And I think it's tying into someone who may even have passed away, or someone who is no longer in your life. And I think that you are to accept maybe that impermanence as well, because there's a part of you maybe that's even holding on to this. I know we're going really deep here, but I really feel like it's going to be a deeply transformational month for you, Gemini. So I think that what's going on here is that you are being asked to change your mindset in all of this, because you are to reinvent your mindset. And it kind of ties into these aspects I just mentioned, ties into a particular situation in the past with a person you didn't like, but then there is a whole nother layer behind that, and that is that other person that you were, that you kind of either grew up with, or this person left an impact in your life. And this is what you're taking a look at, is that you're kind of cleaning house in this area, right? Letting go of this karmic kind of past situation, and triumphing over your fears. And the more that you feel that situation out for yourself, the more that you feel that, to see the good in all things, because it has taught you something. It's teaching you at a deep, deep level to live more passionately, which is what we're seeing here also with the, Eight of Pentacles reversed. And I think for you, this is going to be a time where it's in helpful energy here with the Emperor. You're also going to be at the same time, another image that's coming through, if you're dealing with someone at work that is a fire sign, you're going to see this person really, I don't know, they're not going to be doing some things they're going to be proud of later. Let's just say that. And you're going to be witness to that. I think that you're also going to have a moment with this person where you're just going to call them out and let them know, that you saw it, that this is not cool with you, and you're just like, they need to take responsibility for what they've done. So I think that the Emperor here is also a situation here where something about that interaction with that person is going to help you to kind of move more of these, fears out. So this is maybe not comfortable, but it is going to bring a whole new emotion that's going to replace that, whatever was the void, whatever was not, working for you. And so I think naturally what's going to happen during this cycle is what you want to change is to find more of your bliss, to release sort of moments that felt, like shameful even, or even like a place where you just didn't want to expose this aspect about yourself, because none of us really want to do it, right? Like none of us really want to expose any kind of weaknesses, because we're living in this world where, we are to talk or even just kind of glorify our weaknesses at some level. It's just really very tricky right now. I think for you, you are healing these aspects, and it may not be even out in the open, but it's going to be more in the background. What's going to be more out in the open is what you believe, the Sun card, right? So I think that you are exploring sort of a sacred sensuality about yourself here with all of these cards that we're taking a look at. I think you're going to be living a lot more passionately moving forward after these encounters that I just mentioned. Now, the Eight of Swords here, I think has a lot to do with you really this month holding on to this authenticity. That authenticity with the Sun, it's going to give you a tremendous amount of courage. And you're going to be confronting that. Like, I feel like you're going to actually say to yourself, I am going to be doing this. I'm going to embrace this challenge. I know that I'm freaking unique. I know that I've got everything within me. There's like a deeper, almost part of you that is talking to you, knowing that you are perfect as you are, right? Like, you are perfect as you are. You are choosing a new path this month. And because you're choosing a new path, this Wheel of Fortune is directly above it, basically saying, hey, you are going to have this encounter where you're just going to feel like you're coming home. It's huge. Like, it's almost like indescribable. What an amazing kind of, reading, actually, because if I think about it, these are like the moments where we know whatever we've gone through is worth it. And so I think for you, that's the same thing that we're taking a look at here. Like whatever you have gone through this month, it is going to show you it was worth it. It may have not been easy, but you're coming out on the other side, and that is what this is about, okay? So that is what we're seeing here is that anything that kind of lets you clear your mind and lets you kind of reinvent your mindset and how you talk to yourself, how you connect, what you connect over with others, right? If it's too surface level, you don't want it anymore. If it's too like, I'm not saying with every relationship, but I'm saying there's something like a deeper experience that you're craving and you want more, you want a lot more, okay? And I think that another situation here with the 8 of Swords and also the 5 of Swords reversed is there's sort of like a fighting going on in the background, and this is related to work. This is related to work or a situation with a group of people. It's a group of people. And I think that there is sort of this emotional impatience that's coming up for you because you're kind of fed up with it. And we're going to pull some cards to see what you are to do. Because, you know, with the Swords, you're just becoming aware that it's like all just mirrors of what is happening within people. So you're having this deep experience, but then you're also understanding why people are fighting, but at the same time, you're kind of fed up with it. And so I think this is also, again, where you're going to just find another balance from within because you are letting people truly see you. But let's see what the cards are suggesting, okay? We're going to start to clarify with the Cards of Truth reading system. These cards are going to be playing cards, but we're looking at it from the Cards of Truth system. If I can pick up this card. All right, so let's go ahead and shuffle some cards right over here and just take a look at what do we need to know on how to navigate this situation that I feel like is going to happen with a group of people who are kind of fighting. Or there's like this intensity, you know, there's like this passive aggressive intensity going on. But you can see through all of it, you know, you can see through all of it. You can see that, you know, people are doing what they're doing because, you know, they're just in this place that is, yeah, that is just, there's nothing else to do here, you know, other than to speak out and to say what there is to say. I think that's also realizing that you're realizing here that with the King of Spades, you are overcoming a really like major point within yourself. You're just like finding yourself coming back home, but you're also sort of tearing down and destroying the parts of you that wouldn't maybe take action. I think this is an action card. This is an overcoming card. So whatever the situation is, you are playing a role. You're going to say something and it's going to start to dissolve this fight. And that's what the card is suggesting here as well. You're saying something that is dissolving this fight. And so I'm going to pull another card because I want to know about the 5 of Swords for you. What else do we need to know? Okay. So the 5 of Swords here. Yep. Whatever you're going to say, it has to do with fairness, and it will have to do with you saying to other people, there is no end game here with the way in which they're approaching it. And I think that interaction, again, is bringing you back home. We said it, we see it in the cards. The cards are basically saying it's like you're coming back home to yourself. 8 of Hearts, right? You're committing back to who you are based on overcoming through this situation right over here, which is so beautiful. And the moment you do that, you know, you start to find loyalty again. You start to find a part of you again that is just ready to give up this kind of idea that, you know, this illusion that you're separate from all things. I think that you just like, it's a deep experience. You're making this deep experience again that, you know, not that you like were running around and you knew that you were disconnected, but there's a part of you that just sort of like went into that place. And I think that that is okay because, like, again, you know, we all do it. And so a couple more cards that fell out here. Let's take a look at it, all of it. Yep, you're becoming lighter. I'm just going to put the cards right over here. So loyalty is returning. You're coming back home to yourself. You're committed to yourself. Okay. You're becoming lighter, which is very important here to realize as well. You're becoming lighter. You're becoming someone who is ready to nurture the kinds of relationships. And when you become lighter, guess what happens? You know, you're able to ignite within you a passion that is there to live passionately, to rise again. We get the validation right over here. It's like so amazing. And you get to actually create from here something brand new. I would say that by the end of this month, Gemini, you are going to be in a position where you're going to, you're going to find yourself be a part of a new project or the idea of a new project, and you're going to have to take action. You may have to think about this a little bit. You know, like you're going to think about this, but you're going to take action towards like a new adventure, a new project. Let's say you have a full-time job, but you have something else you're doing on the side. You're going to find like your people. You're going to find a new project. You're going to find a thing that is going to allow for you to step into that picture. We're going to take a look at the last couple of messages. We have the manatee and we have the seashell. Beautiful. The manatee here says it's time to let go and move on. What's holding you back? The manatee also, it's so interesting because where I live right now, you know, we do have manatees here. And whenever you observe them, you know, they are like the most chill, the most relaxed animals. Like, it is amazing. They're just so, they come up to the surface whenever they want to. So I think that we're seeing that symbolism again, you know, it's like you're coming up to the surface and you're letting yourself be seen, but you're in charge of how you're doing it. That's another thing I think that we're seeing here. And it's also saying, what is holding you back? Is there something holding you back? And whatever that is that's holding you back, this month is like prime time for you to start really confronting it, meeting yourself where you need to meet yourself in order to just let that go. The seashell. I love this for you. I absolutely love the seashell. I actually have been writing a lot about the seashell, which I haven't released that yet because I didn't know where to yet. But I have a lot to say about the seashell. And basically on the bottom here, it says, let down your guard. What are you protecting yourself from? Which is really interesting in this card that they have chosen to use the word protection. Because here, the seashell basically says, look, there are moments where we have to echo certain things back to the people because it belongs to them. So there are some things that you're going to echo back by your voice, through your voice, and we see that with the swords. You're going to echo that back to the people who have sort of misrepresented you, or they haven't really given something the justice that it deserved. And you are the seashell energy this month where you're going to echo it back because it belongs to them. Because certain things that are being said and done, that stuff is going to have to go to the people who are responsible. And I think that you are going to play a very wise role in that. And you also need to know that this spiritual message basically lets you know that you are protected. So if you are wondering about that, you are protected, okay? I am going to pull one last card, a final message that we need to hear for you, Gemini, a final message that you need to hear for this particular moon cycle. And we're just going to go from the top card because the cards are new and the way that they fall out is like a bunch of them. Look, it is a spiritual key. I love this for you, Gemini. I just absolutely love this. It's a spiritual key. It is a spiritual key to redefine intimacy, but really how to practice unconditional love within yourself and letting yourself truly be seen. And that's what I'm seeing here for you for this month. Gemini, so we're diving into that new moon in Taurus. New moon in Taurus. It is going to be another very powerful moon cycle. Because of what has happened in 2020, all of the astrology now is felt more by everybody. It's sort of like we can't avoid that we have celestial energies working with us, the celestial bodies, right, of the planets. They're here. They've always been, and we're part of this bigger cycle. And I think that more and more are we becoming aware of it. I mean, if you're here looking at this reading or several other readings, right, you already have been feeling it too. And so this month is going to prove to be a powerful one when it comes to money. We're seeing powerful money cards here. We have the the Queen of Pentacles reversed. We have the Emperor reversed. No need to freak out just because they're reversed. It doesn't mean like, it's a bad thing. It is just energies we have to navigate more, or we have to take a look more. We're just becoming a lot more maybe potently aware of them. So I think that this is something that is going to be coming up for you. You're also going to become aware of someone who hasn't been honest and truthful. That's another thing we're looking at. The Queen of Wands reversed. Just so in a nutshell, what you're doing is you're continuing to work that Emperor energy from last month, which is beautiful. We see that Emperor come back through. It is a huge sign that you're continuing to release, continuing to liberate yourself, okay? Creating more peace within you. So the Queen of Pentacles reversed. There is some kind of money situation that you're taking a look at. And this money situation is the core energy and the pulse of this month for you, okay? The Queen of Pentacles, I'm going to just go ahead and just clarify right away, because what is this Queen of Pentacles energy going to be for you? Well, it's going to be about learning how to manage this particular investment, bills. It could be just all of your bills, but there is sort of like an abundance of things that need to get organized or they need to be taken a look at, and it correlates completely to your home. It could have also been an inheritance that has been left to you that you just don't know what to do with. Like, you just don't know what to do with the property. You don't know what to do with this thing. I think that you are going to feel quite actually emotional about it at first, but then you're quickly realizing that you're in a place where you are going to take this on. You're going to take this challenge on. You're going to organize things. You're going to do them very differently because you feel that your emotional world now needs to be invested in this direction. That's another thing that we're seeing here. Your mind is definitely very, very sharp on this subject because you are going to be able to see things from a completely different angle if you allow for yourself to see it through the Jack of Clubs. The Jack of Clubs is a learning card. It is a learning card on how to do things very differently and also learning about yourself, right? The black suits in the Cards of Truth system, they are never the easiest, but they're totally worth it when we put our effort into it, when we are taking and accepting and meeting the challenge from our center by acceptance, okay? So here, what I'm seeing is that new moon in Taurus, 19 degrees. It's an action phase. It's straight up an action phase. Taurus 19, the 19 is a degree within the Taurian degree that has a lot to do with working on our value, but it is in the reality sense. And we're seeing that in the reality sense because that Emperor last month was surfacing for you to show you a relationship dynamic from early on that basically had impacted your life. And there could have been sort of a paralysis, a frozen state when it came to taking the right kind of action or not knowing how to take action, something tied into that relationship. And so now you come into this month, you come into this phase, and what you're going to be realizing is that the Emperor continues to show you in a very helpful way that there are things that you are wanting to clean up. There are things that you're wanting to take care of. And so it's a beautiful thing, okay? So in a nutshell, all month long, it's your heart is at home, or your heart is at new emotional values that you're going to define as home within you, okay? So then we see the Judgment over here, and that is super, super interesting because I really do think that there is sort of a lack of responsibility with another relationship dynamic that is going to become visible. Again, that word responsibility, the ability to respond is coming up, okay? what it really means is that this person who is in your life or was in your life, there is sort of a lack of responsibility that is surfacing. What does it have to do with? Well, it has to do with money. Again, we're seeing that theme here, the seven of diamonds. We're just gonna like clarify everything here. We're gonna go again to the bottom. So what you are gonna feel like is that the experience this month is gonna be very, like, you can't avoid it. It is fated. It's coming up for a reason. You are to clear this thing, but it's short-lived, and that is what you need to remember. So I'm here to remind you, it is short-lived. You are not going to stay in this energy of having to clean this thing up and looking at this relationship and kind of like, you know, saying to yourself, crap, like now I got to deal with this, you know, portion of my life. It is going to be short-lived. It's not going to be something that you're going to have to fear for too long. But I also just want to let you know that there's something that ties into you feeling like part of the reason why you didn't confront this or why you didn't feel with this is because there was like a fear of doing something too boring or doing like the mundane in a way. I don't know. There's like that feeling that I'm getting from it that is tied into this. So whatever money kind of situations that are outdated that need to get reorganized, this is what you're going to be doing, I feel, this month, very much so. And you're going to be sorting through the finances. You're going to be sorting through property or even real estate that you own, things that feel like they kind of really impact your confidence and they impact how you're living your life. So there is something like this that is going to be coming up. Some of you, I also feel like it is going to be about a piece of real estate that you're trying to get, and perhaps there is also a competitor. Regardless, there is a competitor. This has to do with either work or someone who is in the same line of work or hobby as you. There is a competitor, Queen of Wands. We see this person. I know it's a Queen of Wands, but I'm just going to let you know right now, I do stick to some traditional ways of reading, but I also am very intuitively inclined, even though it's a Queen of Wands energy. It is just the energy of what it is that I'm describing. And I am going to let you know that this Queen of Energy wants, the Queen of Wands energy is really just the actual like energy field that's between you and the other person. But the other person is a water sign. They have like water placements. That's what I'm seeing here. So the Queen of Wands energy, it is a misplaced sort of passion between the both of you. You have a more like very genuine connection to what it is that you're doing, and this other person is going to show you that they are the snake in the grass. That's what I'm seeing. We're going to clarify. We've already shuffled the cards. Yep, you're breaking away from what you used to believe about that person. I am going to pull a little bit more. We're going to just see what else we need to see. Immediately a card fell out. Yep. You have sort of like, you come into this month, because of what has happened the month before, you come into this month with the superpower of really being able to see. You're going to be able to see it. You're going to be able to feel it. You're going to be able to call it out right away because your energy is starting to become a lot more higher in frequency. And what I mean by that is you're also going to be, there's so much here. The rose, okay, is the highest frequency flower. Out of all of the flowers, the rose is the highest frequency. They're able to measure the frequencies in the flowers and the energy that comes off of it. The rose is very high. Even when you're trying to get like rose oil, it takes 6,000 petals in order to get like certain millimeters out of it. Like I have to look that up, but I know for the roses, it is a high frequency and it's very healing. So you're going to come into this situation with your eyes open, something that you hadn't seen before. And it's a relationship, but this relationship is going against what it is that you are trying to create. And they're going to show you. How are you going to react? You're going to be reacting like the wolf. What is the wolf? You are going to just take in what it is that they've done. You are also going to take a mental note of it. And what's going to happen is you're going to turn it into a positive for you. The way that you're going to do it is that you're going to know what you need to do for you in order to protect yourself from this person, in order to make sure that you will not be impacted by this situation. So you're kind of ahead of the game. There's also a timeline attached here, Gemini, for this. Like, I feel like very strongly there's a timeline attached to this. Like something about this person is rushing to get something done and you're kind of like seeing through it. Again, snake in the grass. I don't like this person at all. And so I think that you're going to just see the patterns here. Something about patterns, something about timelines, and you're going to be ahead of the game. You're going to be able to secure your safety in all of this. And I think that you're going to be able to see what it is that they're doing, like straight up. And I think that because of that, you're also going to be more inclined to go in a different direction. So something about the previous plans are going to be modified here. So really interesting. And it ties into like an impact of money as well. So there's an impact of money. You can see it down the road, not right now, but you're seeing this thing like down the road. There's something happening there. Okay, so the Emperor reversed, that is again your guidance this month. Your guidance this month that you are to listen to. The Emperor reversed. What's the Emperor upright? The Emperor upright is, basically being able to really be stable. Okay, that's the sort of like the first thing we can see. The Emperor is in charge. The Emperor is in charge of all of its reality. Okay, so the Emperor reversed is an opportunity for you to take a look at the areas where you need to trust your inner knowing about the reality at hand. And it also ties very much into what you believe about your values, what your values actually are. So again, you're diving in deeper. It's not easy, but you're going to be ready to commit to building something new because of how this month is unfolding for you. You're going to be committing to building something new, whether that's a new house, whether that is going to be a new place that you're going to be living in, whether that you feel like, all of your life you lived in the mountains, but you deserve to have a house by the beach. That's what you're going to build towards. So there is sort of a thing that's opening up, and it could be from small too, right? Like all of your life, maybe you were shopping in one place, and now you know that this one other thing, the material of this clothing, the kind of food, or whatever it is, that material aspect, it's an upgrade for you. But in order to get to the upgrade, you have to sort of reinvent the way in which you think. And that we're seeing as well here again, but it goes a little bit deeper this time with the emotions, with the Ace of Cups reversed. So the Emperor here is going to be a commitment that you're going to be making towards something new in your life. And you want these changes. And someone actually is going to be inspiring you. This is sort of like a guardian angel in a way, disguised as a human. It's like this person is going to surface this month. Yes, because they're going to say something to you that you had not considered before. And whatever they're going to say to you, you're going to think and believe differently from that moment forward. It is really interesting. Let's take a look more at the cards. Oh my gosh, we have the pillar card. So yes, it is a new pillar for you. It is a new sense of integrity for you. It is a new ground that you're going to be standing on, and you have that protection. You're going to be connecting to your intuition through this person even more. So they're like igniting this part about you this month that is going to be so amazing. I feel like this person has like a little bit of a deeper voice also. That's another thing that's coming through. This person has a deeper voice. They're going to help you aim in a new direction. It is so beautiful. Like I am telling you right now, I see you guys either grabbing coffee or like some refreshments somewhere, and you're having this conversation and you're just having like one aha moment after another, and you're just like, wow, you're coming out of that sort of like, what just happened? You're having this really amazing experience that now that you're becoming lighter, that you're seeing things for what they actually are in such a pure, clear picture. This information is coming through with no obstruction, with nothing in the way. So that's another thing I'm seeing here. Ace of Cups. In order to liberate yourself this month, in order to get yourself free, in order to let go of limitations, okay? This is basically saying that you cannot let your trust or your mistrust in certain things get in the way from the past. Okay, this is from the past. Ace of Cups reversed. This has to do with trusting what you used to believe in. Okay, this has to do with, can you trust this new belief? And how are you going to know that you can trust this new belief? Because you just let go. You surrender to the rewards that are being shown to you. This is a reward card. 10 of Spades. We're going to keep it super simple because I know I'm working with a lot of cards here, but it's just to help us to kind of really get to the bottom of it. Okay, so the 10 of Spades, it is a very powerful card. It is a card that lets you know that you have put a lot of hard work in, and you cannot let your emotions from the past get in the way of it, and they have absolutely to do with trust. The Ace of Cups is the beginning of trusting our emotions. So the Ace of Cups reversed is you have to let go of sort of like this challenging, this new thing that's trying to come through into your life. And this new thing has a lot to do with you realizing that it's time to move on. So something about moving on, and something about letting go, and something about, you know, how money ties into through other people into your life. There's sort of this trust thing going on. Can you trust a bigger picture? That's another thing, right? Like, can you trust a bigger picture, and that the people that are in your life that right now are helping you, and the people that are really stepping in, that are like giving you sort of like a backbone even, you can trust that. You can really trust that. That's what I'm seeing, because your inner sort of, your inner intuition is going to let you know. You're not going to be led astray this month. And I think that the confusion here can be that you maybe think that you're looking sort of like for proof whether this situation or this person or this new belief is going to be in the way, right? Like, is it in a way? Can I trust it? You're looking maybe for that proof, and you don't have to. You're going to overcome it, basically. Okay, so you are sort of also clearing your mind of these burdens. Like, you used to just want to maybe hold on to some kind of worry or some kind of, you know, belief that was sort of like a pattern for you. And so here, this is a growth challenge in all of the right ways. I also think that you're going to be sort of letting go of something that used to be very important to you emotionally, that you were doing or that was part of your life. It could have been something that you were reading. It could have been something that you were like watching, maybe late at night even. You're going to let that go because there is a reboot. You're holding yourself in a lot more grace, and that's what I'm seeing here. I do want to clarify this card one more time. Pomegranate. Yep. Pomegranate is a fruit that has absolutely to do with all the goods and all the luxuries in life. So there are certain things I think that you're realizing that are not going to be part of your life anymore, that you used to define as luxury, that you used to define like it could be anything, right? But you're going to be replacing it with new belief systems, and a new sort of pomegranate is coming through. That energy of the pomegranate is coming through. And it is a time where you're going to be able to really put some new oxygen into parts of your life that really needed it. It feels like there's something that was very like kind of stale or like stagnant. So you're going to be able to energize this area of your life, but it also has to do with you and your physical body as well. Okay. So that's another thing that I'm seeing is that you're going to be, like halfway through this moon cycle, you're going to be doing something so amazing for yourself, but it comes through a letting go of an old value. Okay. So we have the World card reversed. This is interesting for me, for you, because this is again about your lifestyle, I feel. And I think that you used to think that you needed to sort of bring something to a closure when it really doesn't have to be. It's already closed. And what is that, Gemini? If I were to ask you, right, like, what is it that you're doing in the day-to-day that you felt like you needed to maybe like complete, whether it's a workout program, whether it is something that you were a part of that now is basically saying to you, you don't even have to do that. Like, you do not have to put yourself through it. That is coming through for me, for you. Yep, you're learning emotionally that you don't have to think about it that way. That is what's so interesting. Like, you are basically, you don't have to take action in this particular area. You don't have to commit that way. Just straight up. That's what we're seeing here. I'm going to pull another card. Yep, letting it go. We have the Ocean. The Ocean is very much about forgiving yourself for maybe going in the wrong direction, committing in the wrong direction. And this is, again, emotionally, on an emotional sense, connecting the dots to how to reinvent and how to think about your lifestyle. Because it doesn't have to be this particular path that you thought it needed to be. So I think that that is another thing that's really, really coming up here. And it has to do with something you're doing on a day-to-day basis. It has to do with your body or taking care of yourself or something like that, that is, again, coming up between these two cards right over here. We have the Chariot, super amazing. There is sort of a new grace that is coming through for me, for you, that is going to bring a new sense of balance into your life. And it has to do with money. It has to do with your work. It has to do with, like, this is an outcome for you this month. You are going to be very honest about your work. Something about that, your work, your passion, the way in which you support yourself financially. There is sort of a humility that is coming through this month by you recognizing that you cannot put your efforts into the way in which you're supporting yourself the same way. And you are going to, like, it's sort of like you're coming out of this turmoil knowing that you have a new balance. You're never going to have to worry about, once you organize this segment right here in your life with the finances, that real estate portion, looking at these areas that you had not taken a look at, you're going to liberate yourself. Like, this is a full-on liberation month for you. Here, with these two cards, where to not give in to the old emotions from the past and where to let go of things, it is also going to kind of let you break out of isolation. And that's another thing that I'm seeing here with the Chariot card. You know, you're breaking out of isolation. You're bringing yourself into a new sense of vitality just because you're not so codependent on this thing anymore, because it has brought you to the place that you're in and it was fine and you're not alone. That's another thing here. Like, maybe you felt alone all this time in this sort of like last like 8 to 9 months in everything you were doing. And so there is a very important moment towards the end of this month, also connected to home and family, where you are going to be sort of, by you just sharing, by you just kind of allowing for yourself to just free this aspect of yourself, you're going to be sort of a beacon for others as well in your family. And that is going to be felt and you're going to see it. Absolutely. You're going deeper this month into all of the things that require for you to commit to yourself. You may have turned away from yourself, you know, in a way. And so I think that you are reaching out to family members or you're reaching out to friends to have more of a connection, but also more of a support, because that might not be easy for you to let others know that you are in this place where you do want to welcome their support. Heart. You know, when we go deep into our heart, we're going to be able to connect to what it is that we really know, need, because our heart's wisdom is the wisdom. It's the soul chamber, okay, of everything that we're doing. It is the pathway to everything, to everything. And so this heart card right over here, I really do feel that you are going to be reaching out to a couple of people and you're going to be able to connect to them and you're reaching out for support. And there's like a huge, amazing like liberation that's going to come out of it, connection that's going to come out of it, a sense of peace that's going to come out of it. And so I really love that for you, you know, Gemini. I see that you are going to be doing it. Again, not easy at first, but I think it is going to just sort of like really pay off. That leap of faith you're gonna take. And I think that you're gonna make this decision to reach out to people for a particular kind of support that you're looking for, towards the end of this cycle, just a 3-day period where you're going to be tackling this. Your spiritual advice is the Hurricane card. Do not stress. You cannot control the uncontrollable. So I think that you are sort of, again, the energy here is holding steady. It's coming in fast, whatever it is that you're to deal with, especially when it comes to finances, your belongings, something like that, because you're trying to kind of, get through what it is that you no longer need, or what it is that you need to organize in regards to it. And you got to pay attention to this area of your life. And I think that is sort of talking to you. And so with the Hurricane here, we're seeing, hey, it's totally fine. Everything you need is there. All you have to do is ask for it. Everything you need is there. Yes. All you have to do is just start to make the decisions that are necessary. You are the person that is going to change this around. No one else can do it. And we have the snail. You might feel like that you're going to go into it like super, like at a speed that you don't like. But you're going to be able to do it, right? Once you get it started, once you make that, you are transforming, you're letting go, you're making peace with this aspect of your life. Last card, reborn. The ram, Aries season, right? You're reborn. This is where truly, I feel like this year kind of is starting for you. You're just coming out of this phase, out of this particular cycle, like a newborn person. Beautiful, okay? All right, Gemini, let's move on to the next part. Gemini, so we're going into the solar eclipse season, your solar eclipse season. Happy birthday. This is going to be a very interesting birthday season for you guys, in that you will be coming to end something that needed to end for a while. And I think it's coming through unexpectedly, but it is actually later on going to make sense why it is ending this month. Because of all the work that you have done up until this point. Remember when I said to you that there is a person in the month before that was really just not good. Snake in the grass person was just very not telling you the truth about them, who they are, what their intentions are. And so this is also going to be coming to a completion this phase as well. The previous lunar eclipse is going to make it come to a head, and then this solar eclipse is definitely going to energize you in the right direction. Now it is going to come in a bit bold. Again, the energies are very bold right now because we are to pay attention. The pulse of this month will have to do with you creating stability. This is it. This is just the end work of creating stability in finances, but also in just feeling stable and secure within the areas of your life that you were not able to feel secure. And this is going to be, in particular this month, going to be about mastering the reality at home. Something about mastering the reality at home. This is something that keeps coming up for me for you. Now, the World card upright, we see that in the last month it was reversed. It was something that you didn't have to actually go about in a way that you thought that you needed to go about. You didn't have to commit in this kind of a way. And so because you were working on all of these other areas of your life, what comes up this cycle is that when it comes to tension that was being lived out at home or within yourself, or tension with someone else that is a family member or someone that's really close to you, that is going to be ending now. So there's an emotional tension that is going to come to closure, okay? Or it's going to come to a head where it is going to bring closure, okay? Now the Five of Swords, we see that card again, and we also see the same card, which was the Eight of Swords, and we see the Eight of Pentacles. So lots of commitment cards. I think that the Five of Swords, let's begin there, you're going to be moving away from not being able to trust and feel the support by a certain group of people. And finally, you're moving away from that because you are going to very much know what it now feels like for you to feel supported and what it feels like for you to have that kind of a support. So again, you are working out some fear factors in that, but I think that the Eight of Swords reversed here is actually giving you an opportunity to believe in the wonders of this bizarre world. You know, you are going to be believing in miracles again. You are going to be remembering what it's like to connect to your inner child and be in awe about life. The Eight of Swords reversed for me, for you, is a supportive energy. And the reason why that is because everything is in perfect order. And we forget. And when we forget, we then frantically look for the answers, right? We look for the solutions. And sometimes, you know, the solutions, there's a timeline that we are not in charge of, that we have to sort of accept. And I think that you are going to be getting that like huge validation this month, that that timeline is going to show you that it's being lived out. Like it feels, again, like a very fated kind of month, because you're going to be moving in a direction where you're going to free yourself from a situation that you needed to free yourself from, number one. Secondly, you're also going to be accepting a new offer, either an upgrade in work, or you're going to be accepting something that you applied for that you're going to get good news about. If you had to put any kind of paperwork in, whatever paperwork you were putting in, you are going to get good news about it. So what you're working out with the Eight of Swords here, though, is that you are going to remember that everything is in perfect order. And you're going to be trusting sort of a divine harmony here that is playing out in your life. The King of Cups is an energy that wants you to know for this month, it is going to be important for you to slow down. Like things are going to, again, like the energies are coming in such a like fast-paced way. Imagine like a ping pong table, okay? And the ping pong match is going, like that is how the energies are going. They're bouncing off of each other in that kind of a way. And especially during this phase. So I think that you are to practice being instead of doing this month as well. So that you can take the aim in a particular direction. And you're feeling it, you're wanting to do it that way. And I think that you are going to just realize that, you know, there is sort of this moment where you have to take the time to rest and refill, that you have to, so you can feel safe. That's really what it's going to be about, okay? Eight of Pentacles upright. There is sort of a release of emotions when it comes to a project, a particular line of work, something that you've been wanting to start for a while. Are going to be starting a new endeavor, a new project. I feel like you're selling something, and that's what this has to do with. But you're going to be selling something based on the organization that the cards in the last season were basically saying that you have to pay attention to. If you've done that work this month, you are going to be moving ahead in like selling something or doing a project, starting something off like from ground zero. You're going to be doing that this month. That's what I'm seeing. You are to take action on it. You're going to feel very compassionate about this. You're going to feel like you are going to be transmuting even more pain through this love of this thing that you're paying attention to. Okay, so that has to do again with, I feel like you're creating something, you're selling something. I don't know why jewelry pops into my head for some of you. There's jewelry, or you're putting together like metal pieces, something like that is coming up for me for you as well. And then we also see that you are sort of continuing to transform obstacles that were in the way when it came to money or creating things in the right direction. But also a lot of this had to do with you not wanting to invest in the wrong direction, you know? So I think that this month you're going to get clarity that you are moving away from what you believed your heart needed, and you're diving into what the universe is kind of serving up for you, what you actually really are connecting to. So that is in a nutshell what we're taking a look at. Let's go back to the Four of Pentacles, because I feel like we're going to, you know, talk about the mastering of reality. We're going to clarify everything with both of these decks. Yeah, so you're learning new ways on how to master the reality at home. And when I say that, it begins from the relationship dynamics to even your furniture, to even what it is that you are doing at home in the physical reality, okay? And the way that you're mastering this is that you're bringing in a lot of your sensuality, you're bringing a lot of your energy into play here, where you are using your spirituality actually for the first time when it comes to making yourself feel really comfortable within yourself, but also as a core energy. What do you want to feel when you are at home? You know, home is safe. Home is a place where you can rely on certain things, and that is something that you've been wanting to feel. You are going to be transforming that this month even more so. It is becoming complete. Now, the World card over here. Wow, we have the 10 of Spades card again here. The 10 of Spades basically lets us know that you are going to be in this place where you are continuing to overcome a particular situation, especially that has to do with home, has to do with a relationship, has to do with tension that was there. And the both of you are coming actually to an agreement. And that's what I'm seeing here. So if there's another relationship here involved in this, the both of you are going to be coming into an agreement. You are going to kind of let go of certain things that you used to be angry about. And because you're able to let go of it, that tension is starting to release, okay? So you are being asked to let go of it because, again, we see the rose over here, similar card that we had before. The rose basically just lets us know you are continuing to lighten yourself, like certain areas that you have become like super serious about, you know, and we can't help it. Sometimes we just go there. We are like that because we have to protect ourselves. So I think that you're seeing this aspect as well. You're seeing that you are, you know, continuing to lighten and continuing to listen to yourself more than you ever have been before. And I think that that is becoming sort of a place of like a sanctuary for you as well, because, you know, within you, you feel like, you know, your home is a sanctuary. You're letting go, you're lightening up, you're allowing more of this side about you to come out into the open. So just wanted to shuffle the cards one more time. So here, there is a new emotional beginning when it comes to that person that I mentioned last month, that is has created quite a bit of this validation that you cannot trust this person. And there is a situation that is occurring here where they're gonna really show themselves. And pathway. So what is going to happen is that because they're sort of showing themselves out into the open in this group setting at work, co-workers, they're going to be doing something that is going to show what they actually are about, and they're not going to be able to take it back. Ace of Hearts. They're not able to take it back. That's just how that's going to go down. And because of that, you are going to witness the opportunity that is going to come out of it for you. I know it sounds really bad, but this really just is going to be an opportunity for you to step in and actually know what it feels like to feel supported, because that person was also fabricating a little bit of this energy or a story about you that just wasn't true. Okay, so here, I think that you're going to be a little bit fearful at first, the way that this is going to kind of go about it, because you're going to feel uncertain because you just don't know, but you can feel that it's coming. You feel that, you know, this person is basically about to make that step in the wrong direction, but it's going to be the right direction for you. So the way to stick it out here is to follow the Ace of Hearts. Speak from your heart. Speak from what it is that you are, experiencing here, and just like let the involved people know that where your intention and where your actual heart is at is not aligned with this person. And I think that you are going to just clear the air for yourself, and it's going to open up an opportunity is coming out of it. I see a conversation that's going to happen, and you're going to be able to move away from these issues that this other person has created. So that's another thing that I'm seeing here. Super important. Money is involved in here. New ways in which you're going to be connecting to support is in here. A new pathway is opening up. We're seeing that. The card is validating that for us. Eight of Swords. This is where you are overcoming sort of some blocks that had to do with you connecting to your inner childlike awe, right? Like this inner like childlike sense where you're having fun, and it's just like this sort of like fun where you're able to just let go and just kind of dive into parts about yourself that believe and trust the divine harmony anyway. Okay, so you're diving deeper into that this month. Yep, we see the ship. You're moving forward. It is huge. Like this is going to be a big liberation, and it also has to do with you yourself, because there are moments this month where you are going to be more reserved and cautious because you're wanting to prepare your mind on some kind of almost like tactical movements, like you're wanting to kind of test the waters a little bit, and it's going to need your attention. Something is going to need your attention in the pathway ahead. And I think that you are going to realize in those moments that that is a part of you that needs to be embraced, but perhaps you embraced it for too long, for too much. And so there's another opportunity here where you're going to be able to just let yourself go, let yourself move forward, and know that everything is in perfect order. Everything is in perfect order because this ship card basically lets us know there is a movement forward when it comes to your work, when it comes to your home, and when it comes to you basically feeling free again, okay? Again, there's a couple of other things tied into it, but it is the end result of this cycle, okay? Very important to remind yourself this month that you have to rest and look at the bigger picture, because you're working on the bigger picture, okay? So if you've been caught up in the details, the bigger picture is when you rest, you see the bigger picture even more. You're connecting to it even more. And that is an important aspect here. All the small things add up to the big thing. All the small things add up to your, true north. So when you're resting and when you're going inward, when you have that sanctuary at home to go to, you allow for yourself to slow down. You allow to practice being instead of doing, okay? And you're taking time to rest and refill. That creates safety. That creates a bigger picture. That is where the wisdom can come through. This is very important for you this month, Gemini. That's what I'm seeing here, especially because of that solar eclipse. That energy is going to be strong. So make sure you are paying attention to that. Eight of Pentacles. We have, the Joker card. What do we need to know about that? What do you need to take a risk on this month? There is a risk that you're being asked to take on. And it does come from deep within you and what you know to be like your biggest strength, okay? This is tied into you taking action towards all of the things that you really, really love. You are to keep your heart open, okay? So important. The more that you take action towards the things that you really love, the more you're going to be able to create compassion towards yourself. The more you're going to be a witness of your life really unfolding in the direction that you need it to unfold. But it also requires for you to expose your fears, to expose anything you feel like you are addicted to, relationships that have addictions, okay? There's a lot going on here. Relationship dynamics will play a role in this as well. You are to expose that this month. You are to step into where you really belong, because your reputation, something about your social belonging and your reputation, you don't want that to kind of interfere with whatever is going on at home, or whatever is going on at home, you don't want it to interfere with that portion. So what's really going to be important here for you this month, Gemini, is that you know what you need to do based on your crown, okay? Crown, your star, the highest intention. But a lot of that is going to get fueled by you taking a step back, evaluating what's happening. What do you need to address? What do you need to expose? These are cards that expose the path ahead, but there's also an exposure of emotions. There might be someone in your life that is dealing with some kind of like they're addicted to something. There's just sort of in this place where they're creating a lot of instability. And I think that there is sort of this fear that this is going to kind of come up and you're going to have to deal with it or something like that, okay? So that's another thing that I'm seeing. Again, just follow the things that you know are allowing for you to keep an open heart. And you are not alone. That, I think, is another fear that comes up, right? You're not alone. Stick to the people who are supporting you, okay? There might be some people in your environment, it has nothing to do with you, but their energy impacts you because they're just angry at stuff. Right now, they're like a lot of people with the South Node in Sagittarius. Oh my gosh, like nobody wins, you know? That's what a lot of people don't understand. With the North Node in Gemini, the South Node in Sagittarius, nobody wins the argument here. And I think a lot of people are just spewing out anger at each other, and there's just no like actual conversation happening. So I think that there is a witnessing of that kind of a thing going on as well. I feel like in the background with the King of Cups that kind of reverse and then ties into work, you are to stick to your path. You are to stick to transmuting your pain through what you love. And that is what's most important here, okay? King of Pentacles and Justice. If you've been waiting for an answer when it comes to paperwork, it's going to go in your favor. You are going to be moving away from what you thought you believed in as a result of it. Because of the good news that is going to come through, you're starting to transform more about what you believed about finances, what you believed about what was possible for you, because there were some situations that you felt like they were just never going to change. Yep, you're moving away, you're releasing those things, you're letting that go. There might also be a couple of things that you still have to review when it comes to the paperwork. Make sure you take the time to do it. Very important. You have to take a look at that. You have to review it because you know, you don't want to miss something that is going to put you into a situation that you don't want to be in. So I'm going to clarify this a little bit more. What is this coffin about? Because there is some paperwork stuff that you need to really pay attention to. Yes. The reason for that is because there might be something that has to get revised. So what you're taking a look at needs to get revised. Yep. Because something about the way in which that is going to be written, it's not really showing your side or something like that, okay? There is a revising that I'm saying that you need to pay attention to. Justice. You're coming out of this month feeling really good about yourself, okay? There is like a new hope that is coming out at the end of this. Why? Because what you've been thinking is going to become now a form in your life. What you have been thinking about, what you've been imagining, what you've been intending is starting to manifest here. And you're going to see the evidence of that. How are you going to see the evidence? Because you're no longer going to feel stuck because of doing the deep work within yourself. Usually this card for me, I know the Eight of Spades can always talk about like some stuckness for me, for sure. But I think for you with the Justice here, this is a freeing of the Eight of Spades. So you used to be stuck and you're starting to move in a more clear direction, but it's more than that. You're going to be acting on what inspires you again. More to come on that in the following season. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing here so far. Let's take a look at your spiritual messages. We have the Dolphin, embrace your inner child, and we have the Starfish, trust your instincts. This is super important. The Starfish relies on its environment. you are to trust your instincts. You are to trust, to rely on certain things right now that are here to support you. And the way that you know that is also through the dolphins, energy. The dolphin energy, embrace your inner child. Really, it's about love. Really, it is about things that liberate you, make you feel like you're in harmony with them. It is about miracles that are going to happen this month for you, where you are releasing something. You have been dealing with this for quite some time. So again, everything is in perfect order because up until this point is what you needed to learn and see and feel. And that's really as simple as that. The dolphin is a very remarkable, very intelligent, creature. And I think that you are really starting to see the value of some of the things that you are letting go of and that you're diving into a new direction. You're seeing that. So again, what is this month really in a nutshell about? It is about a sanctuary that you're building, a safe haven you're building, a compassion that's returning, a hope that's returning, a forward movement that is returning because of things going in the way that you really intended for them. And so finally, you're going to see the proof of it this month. And that's what I'm seeing here for you, Gemini.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time. I appreciate that you're here on my channel. If you like my work, then subscribe, ring the bell. It notifies you every time I put out a new reading so you don't miss anything. And I will see you guys in the next video.